Again. President-elect Donald Trump's historic win Tuesday has Americans joyful, angry, and surprised. Some Mark said he will return to the White House 4 years after being driven to near exile following the January 6, 2021 on the U.S. Capitol. Others are worried for the future of women's health and immigration and frustrated that Vice President Kamala Harris couldn't get the votes to become the first female president. Many are ready to move on from the months-long slog of harsh campaign rhetoric. Unlike after the 2020 race, there appears to be little interest in questioning the voice count and no real talk of violence. Trump will be the first president since Grover Cleveland 132 years ago to lost the office and win against and won against and won again 4 years later. And the supporters tactic. It's almost like having those Steelers win game. It's a good day, said Rose Singerland, 42 of Pittsburgh. It's almost like having the Steelers win a game. Seligman and his friends stood outside a Dunkin' Donuts on Wednesday morning in a Pittsburgh Market Square. Singleton said Harris didn't do enough in 4 years as vice president and didn't separate herself from President Joe Biden. In Aurora, South Carolina, Garrett Brinson, who owns a gutter installation business, stopped for supplies at the Nicksville store in southern Hampton County. It went just like I hoped it would, Brinson said. America was on the wrong track and now maybe we can get back on the right one and put God first. I think that's what Trump is trying to do. Pearl Phillips, a longtime employee at the country store, took the quick smoke break between ringing up customers. The 72-year-old said a couple of store election results earlier that morning, but she was presently pleased. I think the right one went in, Phillips said. 4 years ago, gas was $1.97. Now it's $3 and something. Groceries have gone up. They haven't done anything for the working people in 4 years. Bestie Debris, who teaches natural family planning classes at St. Annie Catholic Church in Richmond Hill, Georgia, said she celebrated Trump's win with a cup of coffee from a coffee shop Wednesday morning. I don't worry about the person, said the bride. I worry about how that person is do this. He could sit at home for live a nice life. He took the bullet for us. Rich Washburn of Erie County, Pennsylvania, voted a straight GOP ticket and backed Trump for his strong opposition to illegal immigration. Washburn was born in the Philippines, and this is an immigrant herself. She came to U.S. a decade ago on a exchange visitor visa, which let and earned her citizenship about 5 years ago. For me personally, I think my morals and everything. I mean, he's a expectative, but what he wants for the country is what I want. I kind of like a set aside him being expected because he cares for the country, and that's all I want. It's tough being a woman in this country. Rini, over 50, was on her way to the mainstream shops in Carmel, Indiana for some retail therapy after the results of Tuesday's election had her feeling disappointed. Aurora has a 24-year-old daughter and said the two are worried that what may happen now that their state and country have turned red. In Indiana, Republicans swept every statewide office, especially voted for Trump over Harris. It's scary that we handed that much power to one party, said earlier, who lives in a wealthy suburb that is slowly growing more purple. The change hasn't happened quick enough to outweigh the red-leaning nature of the rest of the state. Nevada young thing voted Karen Carolina Ferris was spending the day feeling toward running for office herself. One day, she said Wednesday morning from her home in Carson City, she was also taking cry breaks and unfollowing many people on Instagram. It's tough being a woman in this country, said Ferris, 22, who also is Miss Nevada 24. Honestly, I am devastated. I'm scared for the lack of checks and balances that may happen on the federal level and worried for our Supreme Court and disappointed that sexual assault, racism, sexism, fraud weren't deal breakers for more Americans. Faye Frank, a 22-year-old brain stay Brasna at a trendy white and coffee shop in Evansville, Indiana, said she voted for rhetoric and policies that people no she believes will harm she believes she believes will harm the lives of women, queer people, and people of color. The whole world today feels solemn, Frank said. It was an election of two extreme touch which made it tough. I think A.I. Harrison Sr. of South Bend, Indiana, said he got up at 3 a.m. Wednesday, turned on the TV, and saw that Trump-Harris 219. He said he knew it was over to win because this country is prejudiced. Harrison, they don't want another black person in the office. She's a smart individual, he said of Harris, but she never had a chance in Reno, Nevada. Harris voter Tim Hilliard, she said he hopes Trump can keep his promises to lower gas and grocery prices. We do hope that he stays true to his word to make the economy better and more affordable, but we will see in the next 4 years, said Hilliard, a Conamo operator. Hilliard said he hopes the landslide win by Trump can spark a national recollection and help the country move past bitter political divisions. Oh my gosh, bro. I don't even want to read all this, bro. I have to read this once again. I just read these. What to expect from single-party control. It was a remarkable 2024 election for Republicans who retook the White House, with President-elect Donald Trump flipped the Senate and appeared poisoned to retain their majority. So what can voters expect from unified Republican control of all three power centers? From swift appointments of Trump cabinet choices to major changes in policy, Republicans in Congress are likely to use their leverage to advance Trump properties and could face few roadblocks from the Democratic majority. The historic election has proven that a majority of Americans are eager for secure borders, lower costs, peace, mon- nonsense. House Speaker Mike Johnson, our law, said in a statement Wednesday, even as the House has not been called for Republicans and Democrats, and since it is still in pay, there are also no guarantees Trump relationships with his own party in the Senate had long been touch and go, and the chamber rules for the majority party the chance to slow walk or even kill bills that don't involve some degree of partnership. Over in the House, the GOP's internal fights on action over the past 2 years because of extremely narrow majority that Republicans hope to expand as final dozen races get called. Big things can happen when one party does run Washington. The last time Republicans held a trifecta in Washington came in 2017 and 2018 during Trump's first term when he signed into law dozens of bills, including a $1.5 trillion tax cut. The Democrats held a trifecta in 2021 under President Joe Biden, which helped lead to passage of the Inflation Reduction Act, holding all the levels of power in 2009. In 2010, President Barack Obama pushed across the finish line in America and the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, a major overhaul of the U.S. financial sector, and the Affordable Care Act. Here's what could be ahead under total GOP control of Washington. Republicans have regained control of the Senate, which is responsible for confirming a president's cabinet and judicial nominees, including filling any Supreme Court vacancies. Confirmation hearing can be intense when a nominee is controversial in somewhere in nominee if it becomes clear they won't get enough to be confirmed. For example, Trump withdrew the nomination of Patrick Shanahan for domestic violence and withdrew the nomination for now Rep. Ronnie Jackson, or Texas to be security of veterans enough management experience. Biden withdrew his nomination of Nara Tanden ahead to lead the Office of Management and Budget over concerns she was too passive, but most cabinet nominations succeed when the White House and the Senate are controlled by the same party, especially since Democrats rolled back the filibuster to allow president's picks to be approved by a simple majority. An incoming president also has historically when putting forward their initial election exactly when the Senate is run by the same party. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for Health and Human Services Secretary, Yuda Sen Mike Lee for U.S. Attorney General, Lara Kruta for Treasury Secretary, all are real possibilities with a GOP-led Senate. In addition to Trump's policy properties like curbing illegal immigration and from home building to energy production, there are several fights ahead that Congress would have to tackle regardless of which presidential candidate took the helm next year. Multiple provisions of the $1.5 trillion 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, one of Trump's administration's biggest legislative accomplishments, are set to expire in 2025. It opens up an opportunity for Washington to remake national tax policy. Expect, Accept Republican properties to be the starting point for these negotiations, and including Trump's promises to eliminate taxes on tips, admit overtime pay from income taxes, and extend the tax brackets. In the 2017 law, Congress will also need to fund government, which will likely receive, which will likely reflect GOP opportunities like stripping funding for diversity, equity, and exclusion programs and slashing budgets for injustice like the Department of Education. Another big debate ahead for Congress and the incoming Trump administration is over whatever raise the raise. Big ahead for Congress. Throughout this election cycle, Republicans have promised that they will not pass a federal abortion ban. Democrats have insisted that they would. Now, Republicans are likely to be put with total control over the House, Senate, and White House. Would they will still resist calls from the election called Christian members of their past federal restrictions. The American public remains largely to a federal abortion ban, and including around two-thirds of Republicans. The Democrats have said Republicans plan to review the Affordable Care Act, which now has been spread properly. Republicans have said they do not plan to eliminate the law. They would change the ACA if they could improve it to lower costs and improve coverage. Republicans have also pledged not to touch the filibuster rule, which creates a 60-vote threshold to pass significant legislation. There were bomb threats and a possible attempted arson attack at the U.S. Capitol, but otherwise no widespread activity marred Election Day. Meanwhile, a compound of racist text messages is sent to Black Americans in several states. A white supremacist is charged with plotting an attack on an energy subjection, and two racist far-right groups emerged. Last Tuesday's presidential election was largely of exuberant violence or harassment and intimidation at the polls. Experts have worried a close election could lead to domestic elections committing violence driven by belief in conspiracy theories. But with Donald Trump soon emerging as a clear winner, no such incidents arose. However, at least 5 states, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Arizona, saw voting temporarily interrupted by false bomb threats, according to the FBI. The threats were quickly designed as the false at the top U.S. cybersecurity officials said they didn't have a material impact on the outcome of the election or voters' ability to cast ballots in one nominal incident. 27 Austin Olson of Michigan was arrested at the U.S. Capitol in possession of a flare gun. The flare gun contains containers of gasoline and a particular piece. Attempting to court records Allison to go viral by getting arrested on Election Day, according to the statement of facts attached to Allison's arrest warrant. He denied that he intended to start a fire, light himself on fire, and denied any intent harm to anyone. Several states that Black Americans have received racist text messages in what appears to be carnage attacks. The messages, which appear to have targeted Black college students, contain allegations on racist troop picking cotton arts are investigating, which stopped experts on Lemonic exorcism, who said they haven't seen this tactic used by hate groups before. This is the first I ever seen of this kind of racist accusing in Texas. It's frighteningly personal and harrowing, Harry Bricker, co-founder of the Global Project Against Hate and Extremism, told USA Today. It's also never seen this kind of racist messaging threatening people directly. While Supermassive print, a day before the election, scholar Philippi, a 24-year-old white supremacist from Tennessee, was arrested and charged by federal authorities with plotting to use a weapon of mass destruction to attack an electrical substation in Nashville, according to Prediction Philippi told confidential sources. He planned to attach explosives in a drone, fly it into an electrical substation Nashville, according to President Philly, told Converse he planned to attach the explosive to a drone and fly it into an electrical substation. To cause power outages, he had previously told the information he wished to commit a mass shooting at YMCA, but changed his mind to the drone attack. Philippi expressed a desire to commit terrorism in furtherance of his belief in Orchism, a white supremacist fearlessly seeking to foment a race war and ensuing to bring about a race-based new gullible. He told the informants he was previously involved with the white supremacist group Autumn Waffen Division. Philippi was arrested as he was assembling the explosives in the drone for the attack. This was the last in a string of arrests of supremacist What is supremacist? Supremacist, whatever. What is that? Is that like a group or something? Like KKK or something? I don't even know. Electricists planning to attack the electrical grid. In first edition of a weekly newsletter to devoted, the Anti-Defamation League reported that two white supremacist groups have noticed a merger. The founder of the National Socialist Front posted on the secure messaging app Telegram in late October. The group will be merging with the group Patriot Front, according to the ADL's analysis. Disbanding NSF appears to be less of a careful workshop marketing decision than a response to legal pressure. Legal pressure and the new legalization in Florida. Joshua Dan Nunes, founder of the NSF, has been hinting at a shift for a while. In a July 23 interview, he announced the group would focus on community building Texas headquartered Pirate Front has sought to portray as less of a hardcore neo-Nazi group and more of a defender or white Aryan heritage. A Western values leak of interracial combinations have shown, however, that it is a starkly white supremacist hate group. That's what population of Republicans polled by Gallup in October were concerned with the then presidential candidate's connections to extremists. 41% of all U.S. Adults polled by Gallup said they are very concerned that Trump is too closely aligned with people who hold racial views. Okay, where are we at? Every poop. Alright, I know where we at. Nevada guns voting. Okay. Fame Frank, a 22-year-old at a trendy white Tide coffee shop in I don't know. White-tailed coffee shop in Evansville, Indiana. She said she voted for Harris in a large part because of Trump's rhetoric and policies that she believes will harm the lives of women, queer people, and people of color. The whole world, they feels. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Going on in a moment. Steve Clark of Ashland, Massachusetts, said he reminded his daughter that this morning that Trump was president before and weren't so bad. At the end of the day, life moves on and things are going to happen. I don't think we can caught up in the swing of every couple of years of what happens on the other side. He said whether it was the Democrats or the Republicans that win. All we do is focus on the race to 51% of the electorate, but we have to do more to bring the 49 and the 51 together. In downtown Reno, barber Damon Watson said he expected the country to continue on as much as it always has. Half of America's happy, half of America's pissed. Just like yesterday, Watson said, just like every day, all the time. That's a cool check. Baby. It already. Oh my gosh. You feel like you reached the top? Yeah. West Palm Beach, Florida. The Kremlin dismissed on Monday reports that U.S. President-elect Donald Trump had spoken to Russian President Vladimir Putin in recent days as per fiction. A source told Reuters on Sunday that Trump, who has criticized the scale of U.S. military and financial support for Kiev, that he would end the war quickly. He's spoken to Toe in recent days. The store told Reuters they were familiar with the conversation first reported by the Washington Post, which had Trump had told Poland that he should not stake the Ukraine war in an unusual move, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on Monday. No such call had taken place between Putin and Trump. This is completely untrue. This is fiction. It's just false information, he told reporters. There was no conversation. This is the most obvious example of being published now, sometimes even in a fairly reputable publications. He asked whether Putin had plans for any contest with Trump. Peskov said there are no concrete plans. Spoke to Ukraine President Vladimir Secondly, November 6 asks about the reported Trump-Putin call. Seven Chewing, Stephen Chewing, Trump's communications director, we do not comment on private calls between President Trump and the world and other world leaders. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said Sunday that Biden's top message will be his commitment to ensure a peaceful transfer of power, and he will also talk to Trump about what's happening in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. President Biden will have the opportunity over the next 70 days to make the case to Congress, to the incoming administration, that the United States should not walk away from Ukraine, that walking away from Ukraine means utter instability in Europe, Sullivan told CBS News Face the Nation show. Sullivan was asked whether Biden would ask Congress to pass legislation authorize more funding for Ukraine. I'm not here to put forward specific language possible, but President Biden will make the case that we do need ongoing resources for Ukraine beyond the end of term, he said. Washington has provided tens of billions of dollars worth of U.S. military and economic aid to Ukraine since it was invaded by Russia in February 2022. Funding that Trump has repeatedly celebrated and railed against, if other Republican lawmakers said last year if he had been in the White House at the time, Putin would not invade Ukraine. He told Reuters Ukraine may have to cede territory to reach a peace agreement, something Kyiv rejects, and Biden has never suggested. Said on Thursday he will not aware any details of Trump's plan to end the war quickly, and that he was convinced and rapid ended would until major conjunctions by KYJV. President-elect Trump has announced Tom Homan as the new boundary Caesar overseeing the portion as Isles RNY has reportedly accepted the role of UN Ambassador Homan, the former head of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, was a controversial figure in Trump's first term because he oversaw the zero-tolerance policy that separated families, and undocumented immigrants. But he has been a vocal defender of who vowed a mass deportation of a statement 11 million undocumented immigrants will begin on his first day in official January 20. I've known Tom for a long time, and there's nobody better at policing and controlling our borders, Trump said Sunday in a post on the Truth Social. Likewise, Tom Homan will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to the country of origin. Homan served as acting director of ICE during Trump's first term. He became a lightning rod for criticism of Trump's effort to seal the southern border by extending the wall, refusing entry while asylum applications were processed, and immediately sending back undocumented immigrants who were caught. CBS 60 Minutes asked Homan in October whether there was any way to deportations. Other was a naturalized citizen and the children were born in the U.S. Of course there is, Homan said. Families can be deported together. Homan was a 34-year-old Border Patrol agent who argued that lax border enforcement under Democrats led to a surge in immigrants during the Biden administration. Trump hammered Biden over immigration, though the campaign blaming his immigration as for what he claimed was dangerous criminals and drugs flowing into the country. Every president I worked for Holman told the Republican National Convention in July after working for 6 presidents since Ronald Reagan. Trump actually did it. Guess what? He's going to do it again. Stephanie, a longtime Continental has accepted offer to become the next ambassador of the United Nations. Reports Trump's nomination of Stephanie is his first cabinet pick after being re-elected November 5th for second non-competitive term in the White House. I am honored to nominate Chairwoman Elizabeth to serve in my cabinet as U.S. Ambassador to the credible United Nations. Alice is an incredibly strong, tough, and a smart America First fighter, Trump said in a statement to USA Today. The New York Post first reported Trump's decision. Second needs Senate confirmation to officially take office. Started after World War I holiday honor veterans of all American conflicts. Monday is Veterans Day, the annual federal holiday that celebrates and remembers all who have served in the military, both in wartime and peacetime. The day has been observed in one form or other since when President Woodrow Wilson commemorated the first anniversary of the World War I armistice. To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism for those who died in the country service, and with gratitude for the victory between no, for the victory both because of the thing for which has freed us and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of the nations. Veterans Day is celebrated on November 11th every year, regardless of what day week it falls on. With Veterans Day falling on a Monday this year, federal employees observe the federal holiday that day, and many national government servers are closed. The day was first recognized by Congress in 1926 and became an official holiday in 1938 when it was known as Armistice Day. Was primarily meant to celebrate World War I veterans in 1954. Following both World War II and the Korean War, the war armistice was changed to Veterans to honor veterans of all American wars. The day's Veterans Day was celebrated and moved a few times over the years. The president Gerald Ford moved it back to the annual anniversary observance on the November 11th date by 1978. Besides being observed in two different months, the set purpose of Veterans Day and Memorial Day is different. Memorial Day is observed the last Monday in May each year and is meant to honor all who served and gave their lives for the country. Veterans Day honors all veterans. Okay guys, hope you like my video and bye.